All right, DD India's Amritpal Singh joins us for more. Amritpal, Trump has been pressurizing Putin and Zelensky to agree to a ceasefire. He will speak with Putin on Monday and then maybe with Zelensky and NATO countries, members of the NATO countries. Tell us how crucial you think these talks would be.
Oh, this telephone call is very crucial, Abhishek, because as you said that President Trump is very interested in seeing that a ceasefire deal between President Putin and President Zelensky is reached as soon as possible. He had made it clear that the two leaders should meet in Istanbul, but President Putin chose not to come to Istanbul either for talks between President Zelensky and himself or a possible meeting between President Trump and Putin. Now clearly the US President wants the ceasefire to happen immediately, immediate 30-day ceasefire, which the Russians are not amenable to right now, given the fact that they are getting huge victories on the battleground. So they wouldn't want to cut they wouldn't want to go back on that, given that they are presently victorious. I think President Putin's strategy would be to gain as much on the battleground and then get down to the negotiating table. So the Russians are taking their time. They are in no hurry to sit down on the table, while President Zelensky desperately wants the ceasefire to come in to cut his losses. So this phone call could basically begin the process of Trump and Putin meeting, and then President Trump asking President Putin to work out details of a ceasefire. Abhishek.
Also, Amritpal, what are the demands of both the parties, Russia and Ukraine, if you can broadly tell us, and for the benefit of our viewers, what's happening at the battleground?
Well, Russia is making huge victories on the battleground. They are proceeding, their tanks are moving faster. It's the Ukrainians that are suffering, despite Donald Trump's claims that 10,000 soldiers or 5,000 soldiers are being killed every day, but the losses are mostly of Ukraine. The demands of both sides. The Russians basically don't want to give up territory they have captured. The Russians want the Ukrainians to give up their NATO, their ambitions to join the NATO. They basically want the West off their back and NATO off their back and be positioned at a depth. So that is what their objectives really are. Whereas the Ukrainians want an immediate ceasefire, because the ceasefire proposed by President Trump, a 30-day ceasefire, so that they can cut their losses. Also, they want their territory to be returned. Now, of course, these are the proposals which are not amenable to each other, and that's why we saw, no meeting between President Zelensky and President Putin in Istanbul, though the delegations met, but they also could not reach, much of a deal except for the prisoner swap that they agreed to. So clearly, the Russians would want concrete proposals, and they would want basically time to make more gains on the battlefield, so that they, even if they have to give away something on the negotiating table, they have enough leverage. President Zelensky, as I said, on his part, would want an immediate cessation of hostilities. Both sides have their positions, and we'll have to see whether President Trump can throw his weight behind this and get both sides to agree to some sort of a ceasefire, because he's indicated that enough in his both aberrations and the tweet that he put out on social media. Abhishek?
Yes, Amritpal, all eyes will be on Monday when Trump speaks with Vladimir Putin and Zelensky thereafter. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs, Amritpal.